Hi boys and girls, I have another really fun craft for you to try at home. And you don't need a lot of supplies. You just need a piece of cardstock. If you have cardstock, great. If you don't, just any piece of paper that's kind of thick would be a better option than something that's thin, but a thin piece of paper will work. It'll just get really wet. So a thick piece of paper, cup of water, watercolors with a paintbrush, Elmer's glue or anything like tacky glue or anything like this that's easy for kids to use would be great, and salt. Are you ready? Let's get started. All right, boys and girls, so we are ready to make our picture. So the first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna open up your Elmer's glue and you're gonna make a picture with your Elmer's glue. Whatever you want to draw, you can draw. It doesn't matter. And if you don't have Elmer's glue, you can use whatever kind of glue you have. Just something that's sticky and that's safe for kids to use. So I think I'm just gonna draw a simple flower. So let's try this. So we'll make the stem first and make some leaves on our stem. We'll fill those in with the glue. There we go. All right. And I think I'm just gonna make a simple tulip. Let's make our tulip. Since it's spring and all the tulips and the daffodils are in bloom. And we'll go ahead and fill this in with glue. Maybe move some of this glue around because that's an awful lot of glue. Use the existing glue instead of squirting out more glue to fill this tulip in. There we go. That's good, huh? All right, so there's my drawing. Pretty simple, right? All right. So then the next thing that you're gonna do, oops, sorry, I hit the camera. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna cover your picture with your glue with salt. So I just am using regular salt, nothing fancy. And I'm gonna pour that on here. Now it's probably best to do this over a sink or let your mommy and daddy help you with this part because it can be kind of messy. But we're just gonna cover all of our glue really good with salt. You don't wanna waste too much of it, but you want it to be covered pretty good. And then I will go ahead and throw out what comes off. See how some of the salt is still moving around on my picture? I'm gonna dump that into the trash. Right. So once you've dumped your excess salt or the stuff that you don't need into the trash, this is what you have left. So we're gonna let this dry a little bit, but not too much. And we'll come back to it and add some color. All right, boys and girls, now that we've let our salt and glue dry just a little bit, we didn't let it dry completely, but now that we've let it dry a little bit, we're gonna add some color. So you wanna make sure that you have your brush and your water and your watercolors. Now, the thing that I found with this is that you need to make sure you get your watercolors really wet, okay? And you got to make sure you don't mix your colors. We've talked about that in class before. unless you really want to mix your colors together to make another color. But you got to clean your brush off in between. All right, so I think that I'm going to use a little bit of purple. And I'm going to get this really wet. Put a lot of water in there. Get a little bit more. Get it nice and wet so that I can get a lot of wet paint on my brush. And watch what happens when I put this on the salt. You ready? Look at that spread. Let me see if I can get this a little closer for you. Watch it spread, boys and girls. Isn't that cool how that moves around on the salt and I just have to barely touch it? You want to make sure that your paint is really wet. And that's just going to spread along the salt. Look at that. I just think that is so cool. Let's change colors. Add a different color, maybe a little red. Remember, you want to make sure that your watercolors are really wet. Ooh, look at that. What I did with that one is I got the watercolor on my paintbrush and then I dipped it into the water a little bit and made it really wet, and then put it on the salt. Look at that. Cool. That's awesome. Maybe we should try a little orange. What do you think, boys and girls? Get our orange watercolors really wet. See how it's getting nice and wet? Try some orange. Ooh, that's pretty. Get a little more water. Look at that spread. Let's add a little bit of water to our brush and see what happens. Look at that. Really cool. Now we've got to do our stem. And I want you to notice something. I didn't put color on the stem right here, but you see this red is traveling down our stem. And when you come back to this later, the cool thing is the color will spread even more then. And you didn't even do anything, and it'll look different from when you made it in the first place. Let's do our green and make our stem. Get a little water on that. Do our stem now. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I really like doing this. It's a lot of fun. And you can make your flower look any color you want. Or whatever you decide to draw. If you didn't draw a flower and you just drew some lines or some shapes, whatever you wanted to do. And just watch the color travel. There we go. I think I'm going to leave that alone for a little while and just see what it looks like when we come back. What do you think, boys and girls? Isn't that cool? All right, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed making salt art today, salt painting. Look at how pretty that is. And I don't know if you can see, I'll try and scoot it up there, but you see how the green is spreading out onto the paper and the red and the orange? Look at that. Isn't that neat? I just think this is such a fun project. Now it won't last and it won't hold up because the salt will dry up and then it'll probably fall off, but it's just fun to do. Don't you think? I love art. I love doing art with anything that's not your typical art. So try this at home and let me see your pictures that you make. You don't have to do a flower, remember. You can do whatever you want to make. I'll talk to you soon. Miss you guys. Bye.